All right, I think that works. And if you want bullshit or want some hobby tips, this Nightmare Priest and Binary Herald Magnificent welcomes you. Hello, my sweets. One moment while we get this thing going. Old YouTubes. Well, I'm working on figuring out how to do the whole transition stuff, so that's working. Except I'm good God. Okay, phone, shut up. Quit doing the thing. Paste. Hobby hang. Alrighty. Now let's go back over where we were. Sorry about that. Pop out the chat. Oh, hello. Alrighty. So, a couple things today. One, I'm not sure how much stuff I actually have to do because we are really close to being done and about ready to start painting on these guys. I'm going to be doing that today. Had a really fun encounter with my printer last night, but I think I finally got it working. Oh, Greeblin. Poor Greeblin. So misunderstood. Let's see. OBS. There we go. There. Okay. Man, my desk. Looks a little cray. So, first and foremost, I'll just show off the sky real quick. And make sure I pull my pants up. So I'm currently printing the other half, or not the other half, it's the other section that is just as equally obscenely high. Yeah, so this is the gallery of the Romanesque cathedral that Hexbricks is making over on my mini factory. I cannot recommend his work enough. The detail is just plain stupid. And this thing is just fuck huge. So cool. And the amount of work that it saves me not having to put time and thought into making a very realistic looking cathedral is insanely appreciated, my friend. Really looking forward to being able to look and see the whole thing, and even more looking forward to painting it and playing on it. You can always use a giant cathedral, you know? Or at least I feel like I can. The other day, someone asked if I liked Warhammer, and I've not shown anything just Warhammer for a little bit, so I thought I would also kind of show this guy. This is about as far as spite will get you. When I do things out of spite, I do not stick with them because I'm not obviously happy doing them, so it's really difficult. But I do get an initial burst of, I'm gonna get this shit done. So this is the Gravis Captain from Dark Imperium's box set with a head swap and a bunch of other details added. These are all foil purity seals, and all of them were going to be written on. The backpack, or the top here, was actually taken from my very first 28 miniature that I ever showed to anyone. On the ammo bunker, it's what I pretty much introduced myself with. It's based on a really gnarly work of art from Adrian Smith, to my knowledge, that was in the old Witch Hunters Codex. But there is a real creepy little weirdo who's real skinny and arched and has this like kind of little staff in the corner. And I thought, man, he'd look a lot cooler if he had some skulls nailed to some wood above him. But yeah, I did not switch out the cloak. That was a little bit too much at the time, I guess. But yeah, I was happy with it. Probably never going to finish it. It is what it is. So, back to things that I'm going to finish. Maybe even today. I don't know how much green stuff I'm going to be doing. Also, you all will be pleased to know that I did reach out to commission a BRB screen. So now we will have a nice little screen to pop up, and I can go to the bathroom and, you know, get a glass of water. Still a little too warm. The key is we gotta let it sit there. Not for 2 hours though. That's too long apparently. So this morning I've pretty much just been drilling little holes in these quivers. That way I can feed the spike, little metal stick down into there. And when I cut it, it won't fly off somewhere around my shop. I gotta feel that. No, I don't. That's good. Yeah. No, I'm pretty happy with the Assassin. I don't see anything on it that really is glaring. I did this morning start to mess around with adding feather to the arrows, the bolts on all of them, and it's absolutely still in the plan. However, I think I need to do it post paint. Otherwise, the hair might collect primer and paint and any other kind of grit that I want to add on there, and I will lose all the detail that I did, which is a very key reason why on a lot of my models I start to add texture in before I ever go to paint them. And it's almost like not a way to hide detail or hide what you've done, but one, it makes you're a texture. Aw, thanks. I think that's a good thing. Man, what kind of texture would I be? Probably soft and fluffy, but like every now and then, if you like kind of rub it the wrong way, you're like, I think that thing bit me. Probably something like that. Scrape that off. It's got a little carried away with the dirt there, Eli. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how they're all coming. And today I'm probably going to be working on finishing these guys up. And then hopefully tomorrow I can actually start opening up commissions and whatnot. I'm waiting to hear back from Tyler to get his blessing, but I had a really good idea. Like when you pet an animal the wrong way and the hair's supposed to go, yeah, just like that. I assume just like that. If I was like, that's a texture. But other than that, just real soft. So I started, I don't think I did any of this yesterday, but I'm very pleased with how he has turned out. So essentially, just added all the cloak. I can't zoom in any further. I might have to bust out the old 350. I've not even used that lens yet, but so, and yeah, the hood looks like shit. That's what we're gonna be working on today. Are you dropping frames or is my connection shit? Oh man, I don't know. I might be. I don't think I am. Let's see. No, it's smooth on this end. It looks like it's smooth anyway. I don't know. So this, it might be blurry because I'm getting a little too close. This guy does not want me to get any closer than that. I could probably, there we go. I think that looks decent. Yeah, you can see one of my many little injuries from yesterday's printer debacle on my finger. It's stable now, but I was watching a slideshow for a minute. Oh, what the, oh, okay, well, a slideshow, that's not good. What are we doing here? Shouldn't be a slideshow. I'm gonna delete that. Get that out of there. Cool. Okay, yeah, I'll figure that out today. I won't make you all suffer through it, I promise. So I did commission a little BRB screen, so now I can do regular breaks like a human. Probably this trouble building an awful cell reception. I gotta say, if it's a typical building that they would use, um, yeah, for like Lowe's, that's one of the worst places you could be in for cell reception. The metal, it just blocks out RF. Fun fact. Uh, and man, oh man, that was something I had to hear about so much. And it's just like, okay, I think it's the building. And they'd be like, nah, it works perfectly outside. And I'm like, that's what I'm saying. Um, but yeah, so we got to figure out how this little hood is going to be pulled back. It would have connected there. All these damn screws killing my signal. I take it back. I don't even think it's the screws. I think it's the sun. Send your team to teach that son a lesson. Yeah, that's gonna be good right there. And then we'll pack it down. So initially I was like, man, that kind of does not look good. It looks like it's just a wadded up piece of fabric. And that's when yeah, that's kind of what a hood is. Once you pull it back, it's just a wadded up piece of fabric. And I'm after kind of fiddling with it for a little bit, I think I can definitely make it look like how I want to. So yesterday, my printer, and this is a PSA for anybody that has an X1C or is thinking about getting an X1C. And I also will fully say that Bamboo Labs, their tech support, despite sending an email that said 2 to 3 days, was very prompt in responding to me. And I'm yeah, they did all right by me. I'm not upset anymore. I was very angry yesterday, enraged. Oh no, you've enraged him. Little Adventure Time reference there for anybody. I love Adventure Time. It's also where the term sweets comes from. Old bubblegum. I find a lot of relatable characteristics to Princess Bubblegum. Know thyself. Anywho. Yeah, we're just pushing this in, kind of crinkling it around there. And then we're gonna push down. Okay, I had my doubts. I shouldn't have. This looks fucking sick. That looks like a real good hood. Kind of hood you'd pull up to stay out of the rain. If only it would keep the creeping death at bay. It won't. Alrighty. Yeah, okay, we're getting there. Pull it a little bit that way. I'm gonna use an X-Acto knife. Get a little bit better grab. They're a little more firm. That piece is gonna get cut. Sorry, you don't make the team. Cut from the team. Cute without the E. Yeah, all right, there we go. Now it's taking the hood shape that I'm wanting. Just had to mess around with it a little bit. It's kind of like sculpting, and in fact, it's exactly like that, but using aluminum foil instead of green stuff because it has more firmness to it. And it kind of bends naturally like fabric when we push on it. Crinkles more accurately. I think that looks pretty good. I'm pretty content that looks like a hood. Push this out a little bit. Yeah, that's good. I'm happy with that. push that side over a little bit. Yeah, so I had an idea last night for... Okay, yeah. Man, I kind of went nonverbal there for a little bit. Sorry about that, guys. Just real in the zone. I really, really have enjoyed making 1492 models. I need to look and see what classes I haven't made yet, because I definitely want to knock those out. Would like to have all of them represented. And you know I gotta make a beekeeper. The creeping bees, the flying, the swarming death. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna rough up this a little bit. And then also, on that note, I got the BRB screen commissioned, and I will be later, after the stream, talking with another artist who I am going to see about having make the logo for the distillery. You all like his work, I'm sure. I know I do. He put this on my body forever. Old Johnny boy. So hopefully, I just have come to terms that with all of the stuff that I am trying to do, I do not have the time to do all of this and make physical things and also learn an entire new skill set. That's still 100% in the what I'm going to be doing, but just at this moment, I need to have a little bit more professional look to it. I want that for you all, not for me, but add some legitimacy. This is a respectable business. Oh no, I gotta clean my desk. Also, that's another thing. We gotta finish these guys so I can clean my desk, because I'm not joking. I have knocked this off my desk at least 4 times every day for about a week, because it's sitting on like an edge, and every time it's closed. Every time it's closed and it falls off and it hits the ground, it pops open and they all roll everywhere. And yesterday one of them rolled under this cabinet and I was like, oh, fuck me. So yeah, we got to clean this desk up. A lot of this stuff I'm not even using. I don't know why I've got it here. Typon, what are you doing here? That's a prime example. I don't know if I showed the jig that I made. I'll do that too. So one of the things that I picked up from woodworking is the concept of making jigs. That is how I made all of these little ropes, and I can demonstrate that. This is the jig. So the first one that I made was this guy. He did not turn out well, but it was also a little bit of a learning experience. One, I literally was just winging it, so can't be too upset. Can't cry over, just a little bit of wasted string that I'm sure I'll use for something else. And that was not right. So went with a little bit closer, and that got me these absolute perfect sized little bundles of rope. So I'll just go ahead and I will make one so you guys can see the process. I don't have a set length that I've been cutting. I've just been, however much rope feels right, In these guys' cases, I would think it would be a lot. I don't know if I could have enough rope that I would be like, I've got enough rope in the world of 1490. So there's a couple ways to do this, but I think the easiest, and that's why I've absolutely have kept this nail here. And these are, there's no way I'm going to remember what kind of nails these are. But yeah, so typically typically, for the few that I've made so far. Put super glue on there because getting that to stick is very critical and fundamental, my sweets, just like learning. And then we are literally just wrapping it like this. Zoom in just a little bit more. That way you guys can see better. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. So pretty much I'm just taking them like this, pulling them around the nail heads so they do not come off. And then I'm doing like little figure eights. And that little part in the middle is going to be where our little tie goes to hold this all together. And that's enough rope. So now we're going to tie it. I'm going to have to use the tweezers. I use the tweezers for this one. And grab that. We've not put any glue on this, so we want to make sure that we're holding it nice and tight, because if we don't, the whole thing is going to come undone. And we are just wrapping that. And I will eventually snip this little video out and I will put it up on YouTube proper. That way it's easier to find for those who are looking for it. However, very handy little jig. All these screws killing my signal. And I'm going to smidgen of super glue right there. And then I pretty much come over here, I put a little bit more on the top and then a little bit on the bottom. And I pull them up to the top and kind of smoosh them. You want a good smoosh. Okay. Bam. That is just a little thing of rope now. All we gotta do is snip it. And then, so full disclosure, these are literally nailed in. But this guy, it does the job. It'll really smack those little nails in there. I'll show you. But yeah, not too hard to pull them out by hand, but there we go. Pretty convincing little bundle of rope that would look great hanging from somebody's belt, perchance. I know. Why don't I do a demonstration? So that side has the littlest edge. So that's the one that's going to be where it's strapped to his belt. Boop. Stop it. There we go. You might want to raise that just a smidgen. And I'm imagining that he has got this kind of looped, but right there, I think. I feel like putting it like this might be better. That might be better. Let's see. How's that look? I think it needs to be hanging. Yeah, we're gonna let it hang. I like that. That's good. Right there. Boop. You want to make sure you just put an accurate boop. Don't want to get too crazy. Watch your profanity. Yeah. Yes. Super glue, get off of my tweezers. Okay. I'm just going to distress this a little bit. It looks a little bit too nice and not torn up for my liking. It's not doing enough for me. I need some scissors. Snip, 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 snip. Snip, snip, snip. Snip, snip, snip. Yeah, just like that. And then, like a crazy person, we're going to come in, we're going to grab some of those little snips, and we're just going to pull. Oh, we can kind of distress it. That's fun. That is good. In fact, might do a little bit more of that. I did it on the back of the leg, and I really liked how that looked. You can see just a little bit of his robe, or the undercoat, whatever that is, hanging off there on the back, a little bit over the back leg. Kind of hard to make out. Again, very, very finicky. It's like the thinness of aluminum foil. So, yeah. I'm just gonna come over here and grab a little more and pull. And that is definitely one of the reasons that I like aluminum foil or whatever this kind of wrapper is, because of that little plastic lining in there. It often will make it to where you can pull and keep the metal still connected but disjointed, and that definitely makes it look like torn fabric. This is just silly. We're getting a little ridiculous. We're gonna have to clean this desk. There is too much hair everywhere. That was a very fun thing with my printer yesterday, cleaning out. So what happened? And I found, they did eventually get back to me. I'm gonna go ahead and hammer my little jig back in so these screws aren't just on my desk. Loud noise, everybody. Or not too loud. And that's a jig. Bam. So is this. That's a little jig, like dance. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I'm doing my best. Alrighty. So, where to go now? Now that I've got his little robe done, I've got his little hat done, we need to... Yeah, fuck, I forgot that I did that. That looks good. That looks good. Is it glued like that, or is it just pulled? It's just pulled. There we go. We'll put it right there. That, I'm liking that a lot. You're doing great. Thank you, Possum. Thank you so much. I'm gonna squeeze this just a smidgen. If anyone is going to be at Nova, I was talking with Eric about that this morning, so he will be there. Make sure you say hi to him. He's wonderful, as you all know. Wire. I'm pretty sure the Eric from 1490 Doom will also be there. I think 1490 Doom is going to be at Nova. I believe they are. Last time I talked to Cody, I was very much thinking I will be there next year for certain, but I don't think it's in the cards for this year. Still just too much stuff to get done, which is why I was so upset about the printer, because it's just like, man, I lost 2.5 hours trying to figure out what was going on with it, and it did the same thing that my old car did that absolutely just enraged me, and that's it is set up to recognize, oh hey, there's something wrong with blank, but that doesn't mean that that's where the actual issue is. It could be that that's just, there's something, it knows something's wrong, but maybe it's not the problem, which is very frustrating if you're pretty adept at troubleshooting, because essentially you're trying to troubleshoot with wrong codes, so you're not actually, you don't know what the actual problem is. So that would be my only hang up on it. However, like I said, they did respond back very quickly. Within 24 hours I had heard from them, and as I am looking to buy another one, that is very important, and I would never recommend anything that I would not buy myself, but so far that's the first time that I have had an enraging experience. But it's honestly on my own fault, because what was happening is at the bottom of the X1C, where the screws that rise the plate up out of it, if you do not pay attention often after running prints, small little itty bitty pieces of filament will fly off, and they may end up in that little well. And that doesn't seem like an issue until enough of it builds up. And what happens is when that plate goes down, all that plastic in the bottom is sitting around a pole that essentially a bearing goes down, and all that plastic will just push that bearing up. And so after getting on Reddit last night, I did find someone who had the same issue, was getting the same errors, and they were like, one of the bearings has been pushed up. Sure enough, when I went to go look, one of them was still flush, and the other one was sticking up about half an inch. And it was like, well, that's that. And sure enough, once I, pushed that back in, it was fine. I'm now getting a micro LiDAR error, but that's probably because it also, initially when it said that the Z-axis was fucked up, that it could be the heat bed has got something on it, or that the nozzle is clogged. So I replaced the entire hot end, I replaced the heat bed, I did everything that it told me to, and that's why I was so angry. Yeah. I'm very good at following directions, if they're right. And that's not me being like, I'm right, not directions. It's more of like, it just didn't tell me what the problem was. So, anywho, that's that. Got it fixed. Now it's printing again. We're working on the gallery that I showed earlier. In order to get there, you're going to need some stairs. This is the piece that connects to it that has a full flight of stairs leading up to that second floor. Now, as far as how you get on the roof, I guess that's still a ladder or a grappling hook. Grappling hook. Shout out Mabel. Big fan of the pod. Speaking of which, that's also part of the situation today. Going to be working on hopefully some Wizard Cousin with Johnny Boy. I do love the Johnny Boy and Wizard Cousins. What the? Mac, get out of here. I'm so sorry, everybody. Mac. I don't even know how that happened. I hit the space bar on my keyboard, but music was not even up. Get out of here. Directions, schmirections. I only follow directions. Please don't deviate from the directions on the mac and cheese box. Good morning, Eli and Possum. Good morning, Roz. Wonderful to have you here. So I already showed the little jig that I made to make these little guys, but I will go back and pull out that video from here, and I'll upload that to YouTube. That way people can see how I make these goofy little, goofy is the only word I know. They look really good. I don't know if I've seen, not toot my own horn, it's like, yep, I don't think I will ever make a model that has like a plastic rope when like that looks so good. And that is definitely, I think, a huge part of why I love adding fabrics. Texture, it's just texture. There's nothing like the texture of a thing other than a thing. So like the closest thing to it is to get something like that. There's just so many inconsistencies and individual parts of like that make up ropes. And plastic, it kind of, I don't think it ever shows as much detail as easily, which is why I cover plastic in grit and all that kind of stuff. Which my very first thoughts about doing that were with Tyranids. Funny enough, that's where the whole idea of using activated charcoal and all that stuff came to me for like my demons. Was again, Adrian Smith art piece from the 3rd edition codex for Tyranids, which was my introduction to Warhammer. I absolutely loved all the ink drawings in that book. but they always, good morning, Adri. Welcome, welcome. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey, or whatever you prefer. Doesn't have to be that. I do Cheerios myself. Anywho, yeah. So the texture on Tyranids, in the art, it's always amazing. Very, very much in line with a crustacean or something that lives in the ocean or a rocky area. It just looks sharp. It looks like you couldn't touch a single inch of them and it would not hurt you. There's just so much texture to their carapaces, and then the actual models at the time. Now they're probably better now, but were very, very, very smooth, and that just is not my vibe. But in defense of that, I mean, a lot of carapace is smooth. Same thing with, I mentioned crabs. Crabs do have a lot of smooth parts. Yeah, I'm really liking this guy. So I'm thinking the next thing we need to do on him is probably just green stuff. I need to fill in these little areas and just do a little bit of touch-ups. I don't think I'm gonna, fuck it, I'm going to. We're gonna do a gas mask. So, or not a gas mask, but a hose. This guy, found him in the floor. Cool bit. As far as what it goes to inside of a toy car, model car, fuck if I know. But I like the bit a lot, and it looks like a nice little bottle. So we're probably going to push that back in there once we cut the top one off. It might be too big. We might end up using the smaller one. Yep, we'll probably use the smaller one. And then a hose. So, time to get to snipping. Snoop, snoop. Where did my... Oh, they're over there. Where are you? Show yourself, foul demon! Beelzebub! Reveal yourself! Oh no, Greeblin, you lost your hair. Where the hell are my nips? Nippers. There they are. They're under my phone. You goof. Not to be a bad host. I'm just... Tyler, I need your blessing before I can do something abominable to this little troll. Here I am. Yeah, so this guy, when I was trying to go to sleep last night, wonderful, wonderful brain of mine, was just like, you know what you can do with that troll? And I was just like, I wasn't thinking about that. I was trying to go to sleep, and it was just like, bah! And blasted a vision in my head. And I was like, fuck, I gotta remember that when I wake up. So I just tried to remember it really, really, really hard until I fell asleep. And then I woke up and I was like, I gotta text Tyler. So I messaged Tyler. As soon as he's like, yeah, dude, fuck that thing up, then we're gonna have a real creepy troll on our hands. He's gonna be like a lot stretched out. I'm not gonna remove any of the parts. It's just I'm gonna add a lot to it and make it a lot bigger. And make him proportional, quote unquote. My kind of proportions, nightmare proportions. They're good for the soul. As Squidward would say, I have no soul. No, I mean, they're good for your soul. Never had a Krabby Patty. I'm not going to just quote SpongeBob, I promise. Unless that's what you guys want. And then I'll be more than happy to oblige. Oh man, just going to shave this off. Ah, hands. Okay. There we are. Aha. Yes, so what else was I going to talk about? Covered. Oh, I applied to a lot of jobs yesterday. That's a weird thing. I haven't done that. I've not applied for a job in 16 years. That's a weird thing to do for the first time in a while. But we will see. It's more of a that actually sounds like something I would enjoy doing. Working on RPG design and whatnot. So we'll see where that goes. But no matter what, this is not going anywhere. This is still what I'm going to be doing. It's what I love, and it's. I cannot stress enough. Also, just answered that question. There's no job that I would take that would have any unalignment with what I'm wanting to do. So it would just be, yep, I think that having a job in blank could help me better spread the message of gaming is for everybody. So those are the kinds of things that I'm now looking at. And if anyone's watching this, hit me up. But I really am excited about doing commissions. That's something that I've never done before. And I'm going to be looking into, I think, I know Possum and I were talking about, I'm just now shaving off super glue in here. Super glue accumulates on these little guys so much, and I still don't know why. It might be all the super glue that I put on everything. Just the copious amounts of super glue that I just cover everything in all the time. I'm guessing that's it. If it's not, I got like an Oompa Loompa situation. Watched Wonka the other night. That's another thing. I love a good Wonka. Not just the movie, but just Willy Wonka. You make a movie about an eccentric, crazy creator. I'm probably gonna like it. If he teaches bad children lessons by essentially letting them fuck around and find out, I'm also about that too. And also, I'll just to clarify that, I'm not saying those children were bad and they deserve to be turned into blueberries or drowned in a river of fudge. I'm not saying that. It's a movie. More of just, those are life lessons you should learn. And if Wonka's got to teach them to you, then hey, that's why, you know. I will say, my preferred Wonka is the Johnny Depp Wonka, and I'm prepared for any hate that I will get from that. But that character is wonderful. Unfortunate that it's essentially also the Mad Hatter, but be that as it may, I think this is not. I don't know. This just popped into my head, but Johnny Depp. I think. Whoa, hot take there. Was it the Johnny Depp being the best Wonka? If that's a hot take, I'm happy to shout it from the rooftops. I love Johnny Depp Wonka, and that the Mad Hatter and the Wonka are the same character. Yeah, hell yeah. I love one. It's Roald Dahl. I love Roald Dahl stories. They are and have always been a massive influence on me. Like personally, I've always loved his stories, and I think he absolutely is one of the people that is responsible for how much I love storytelling. And I think it comes from a lot of his stories are children. I mean, he writes children's stories, but he doesn't write stories for children as if they're children. He writes them in a very, they're aimed, they respect the reader. That's the thing I guess I enjoyed about them. You can always tell when you read a book when you're growing up and you're like, do they think I'm a little dumb baby? Like, I don't, what? Roald Dahl doesn't do that though. Fantastic Mr. Fox is one of my favorite books by him. Also, absolutely love the Wes Anderson version of the movie. Well, Fantastic Mr. Fox syndrome. I know all about that. Just doing a little snip. Just a little off the top, sir? Okay. Snip, snip. Don't tell anybody we cut hair here. I'm not trying to get my hairdresser mad at me. I don't even know. I think she would actually be really down if I was just like, hey, I'm opening up my own business. It's called Fuck Up Your Hair. $20. Come to my house, I'll just fuck your hair all up. And then you can go see my girl Miranda, and she will fix you up. Shout out to my hairdresser Miranda. She also has a book. I'll pitch that. I have not read it yet, but it is. I think I would say smut. It's dark art fantasy romance kind of thing, from what I understood. Uh, and when I use the word smut, that was her words, not mine. Which we did have a conversation about that while I was getting my haircut, which I absolutely loved. I really truly enjoyed the entire conversation, and it's very much kind of in the vein of what I wanted. Wizard cousin, not wizard cousin. The idea that I had about, like, I think it was, I said kindred, but it's just like-minded people, people whose, and it doesn't matter what field they're in. That's the key part, I guess, is like people who have a passion that they cannot control, like something that it is absolutely like who they are to their core, and they cannot change, um, whether they want to or not. Like, that has always been, I love meeting other people like that, and that's especially in this hobby because everybody has different ways of doing things. One of my absolute favorites, is work. I'm not alone in that by any means. Weirding way, Isaac and I have such a similar way of thinking, and it is very clear, at least to us. And like that's what's so funny to me is that, like, when we finally got to meet in person, I was very delighted to hear that he also thought of my work how I think of his, where it's just like, again, fisherman always spots another fisherman. Like, if you are obsessive about such small things, when you finally meet another guy that's like, yep, or another person that just is like, I want to cut up all these things and use this little bitty piece and like think about it for hours on end. It's interesting. It's wonderful. It's wonderful to not feel as alone. But his take is often, he's the robot guy, the mechanical guy, and he's like, yeah, and you're the flesh guy. Wonka. Personally prefer Wilder's part nostalgia, part his snark. You listen to the Primus cover album? I've not. I will also say I've only seen the original, like the original movie, and I'm not going to get it right. It's called Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, right? The second one is Charlie, which that okay. I'm not going to get off on that until I start working on something. Um, I'm not going to get off on that. I'm going to talk about it. Let me rephrase that. Just don't want that to be unedited. I cannot. The the situation of like the child with like a house full of elderly people and he's the only one who has the job is just so buck wild. Um, I always found that just, it's a very fantastical kind of story. Also, we were talking the other day, another side tangent about fairy tales. And my buddy Sam let me know that he had not seen Pan's Labyrinth, and I almost died. I almost died right there. It was really close, guys. Because he loves Del Toro, and I was just like, that is the most Del Toro, Del Toro. But we were talking about Mama, which I love. I love Del Toro's work. He clearly he gets it. Just redefining monsters. Um, but I've also he's really the only one that I'm like, I'm okay with a happy ending. And that's because even his horror movies are fairy tales, all of them. And I, it's the same way that I guess I felt when I read the forward, forward in the Art of Sid Mead book. It is by the director of the movie Blade Runner 2049, and it definitely shined light on things that I did not know. And number one, the world that we see in Blade Runner is not Sid Mead's first drawings. It is after Ridley went back and asked him to fuck it up. Like, it was too hopeful, it was too futuristic, and I've ranted and raved about my love of Sid Mead and how his art has affected me personally, like growing up, like who I am as a person, and the things I'm interested in. He's had such an impact on that. Which is when I was like, man, I don't know, Turn 8 Gundam? I don't know if this design is, I don't know how I feel about it. Then I found out who made it and realized I'm definitely wrong. Whatever I thought I was thinking was wrong. And it's completely different. And that's, I'm not saying you can not like things. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm not good. I'm not good at explaining things when I'm passionate. You can not like something even by an artist that you love. But the moment that I found out who designed it, it's like the gears in my brain just shifted entirely, and things that I was not looking for in a Gundam model, because it has an entirely different design. Like, the design language of Gundam is pretty set, and that's why I did not like Turn A, the actual Gundam itself. I did not care for it initially because it's so different from the template of Gundam. But then when I found out that it was Sid Mead who made it, I realized that I was not looking at it through the right lens. And that's, my wife Sam and I had a conversation about the movie Skinamarink, which I've not seen Skinamarink. We stopped it because it was not in a... That's dumb. I'm gonna fuck these up. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab a knife. I've not watched Skinamarink because we started to watch it after a friend of ours gave it a very high amount of praise. And the thing that got me is he was like, dude, it reminded me of the house that I grew up in when I was a kid because of the stuff that you would hear. And it's that, if you make a movie that preys on that kind of primalness, I mean, hello, we are friends. We have the same kind of tastes. I guess my horror, I try to convey horror in a way that everyone can feel it, because there are certain things that can only really scare certain people. But I put a lot of time into at least my demons and the monsters that I make to try and make, little things that if you notice them, they will make you uncomfortable because they're supposed to. They're meant to be something that you think, maybe I'm misinterpreting that. You're not. It's art. It's supposed to make you think. It's supposed to make you feel, at least, because that is what the person who is making it is trying to do. They are trying to get out whatever is inside. But yeah. Oh boy. And I was talking about Skinamarink. Yeah, we did not finish it because it is a very audio influenced movie, and we were trying to watch it in our basement, which, while it is very good for chill vibes, it is not even remotely conducive to watching a quiet movie, where you're supposed to notice things in the background and be feeling uncomfortable. And the whole argument, it wasn't an argument, it was just a discussion. But the whole discussion came down to, I don't blame that on the movie. Like, me not being able to finish it in that sitting, I don't think a movie that you're like, yep, the intention is for you to use headphones to be immersed. I don't think that's a bad movie. It's different. It's different. And it's the same thing with, like, Dead Space. The Dead Space, I'm pretty sure the first one, if not the first one, at least the remake, there was a screen that pops up and it says, for the best experience, play this with headphones. Um, which, who boy, talk about some masochists. Or not masochists, but sadists. Uh, that game fucked me up the first time I played it. Like, I was jumping at shit, at shadows and whatnot. Uh, yeah, that's good. I like that. Not jumping at shadows, but this little thing. This looks good. It doesn't really need a little boop on the end, but we're going to keep the boop. And it's going to go back in here, like that. Come up underneath the helm. Probably here-ish. So right... I might not have to cut this thing anymore. Hell yeah. We'll call that a win. It needs a little bit of a bend. I don't know why I said cut. I'm definitely going to have to cut. I don't know. I didn't think I'd have to bend it too much more. But in this, I am not using the pliers. I'm just using my hands. I don't want to mess things up. The smaller the wire that you're working with, and I mean that on not gauge, because it transfers across all thickness, all gauges, because they are wrapped. That is the issue. And you will see at the end on guitar strings, when you cut them, you're never going to get a clean cut, ever. You never will. You would have to have something that is so overkill that no one would have it in their house and just be like, yep, I've got a little wire. Just because, one, it's steel wrapped around in steel, the circular motion of it, you would have to have some very specific kind of machine, and I would think it would have to be a laser to cut both pieces and have no warping, no distortion of the wire that's wrapped around the main wire. Yep, that's what I like. Hello. Beep, beep, beep. Boop, boop. But yeah, I'm really excited with where we are with these guys. It's been a journey. I don't know how long I've been working on the two Doom companies, Sam and Kelly's, but it's been delightful. I'm very excited to make more Doom companies. Doom and doom and doom and doom. Doom and doom and doom. Yeah. Just like that. Just like this. That's a reference to one of the most memorable scenes of Game of Thrones. Real feel bad. But I like when a show doesn't hold back punches, so I like when art doesn't hold back punches. Speaking of which, man, we watched Parasite last night again. Fuck. If you've not seen that movie, please go see it. Like, you don't have to like go anywhere. Like, watch it. But yeah, that movie is so good. On second watch, I love a movie that wants to be watched more than once, especially with a eye for detail. Hereditary is my favorite of them. I cannot stress enough, Hereditary is it's one of my favorite movies ever made, for certain. But the joy that I got out of watching that movie a second time, I don't know if I've appreciated another movie as much on a second watch. And I've talked to Sam about this, but it's, again, authenticity. It's why Green Room scared the ever-living fuck out of me so bad, because I have been in a situation that could have turned into things like that, and it's just not even on my register if that was a possibility that could have happened. And that is what I find truly fucking horrifying. is if you can create a situation that I legitimately don't know what I would do. I can usually think my way out of things. That movie is just it's it's the realness of it. You could not make that movie if you did not grow up in a hardcore or punk scene, um, because just the dialogue, the mannerisms, the story itself is so in the world that it's supposed to be. That's it's got its faults, absolutely. And as far as horror, it's definitely not going to be. I know a lot of people can be like, "Oh my gosh, that movie scared you more than Hereditary." I loved Hereditary. It scared the ever living shit out of me at the time. Like, I'm not afraid of possession by any means, but their use of true horror in filming that movie and suspense, it's that's what won me over to Ari Aster. I was a convert after that. I hope to God he does not do anything horrible, um, because I don't ever want a reason to feel bad about liking his art. But yeah, he is very, very good at capturing horror on a level that I think you don't have to have a certain upbringing, you don't have to have certain fears, um, very primal fear, which is, I think, what proper horror should be. I like the part with the Dead Kennedys cover. Yeah, hell yeah. I was pumped about that. Fucking Nazis. Yeah, that movie though, God, just and explaining it to Sam, Sam was just like, "Nah, man, they had total control." I was like, "They had no control over that, Sam. They did not have money for gas. They were needing gas money to like, you know." And he pretty much said he's like, "You would never be in a situation like that. You would never play a show with people like that." And I was like, "I wouldn't if I knew that's what I was signing up for." They didn't know that's what they're signing up for. They get there and essentially they find out, oh fuck, these are Nazis. And then shit that they don't have any control over happens, and they do what they think is the right thing, and it just turns into just a fucking monstrous mess. And that is one thing I will say about that director. His other movies I did not care for, um, but that is pretty much his thing, is showing little snippets of life where things can go really, really wrong and spiral out, but are still in a slightly, like at least in some believable manner. And I don't know enough about the community, the content, the cultures of the other movies that he's like done that kind of stuff with, like the Blue Ruin, which is it's good. That was a recommendation from The Wires. Like it's a feel bad movie. But they got done dirty by that punk kid. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, it's. I like that. This is good. This guy's good. I like that little gas tube. We got a nice little cable going there now. Ooh, here it comes. Wow. There's a nice little cable, and there's the little gas tank peeking out from behind his robes. I was trying to think of where are you gonna hang this on you, because you've got a cloak on. You don't wear a backpack over your cloak. That's just silly. So I was thinking he definitely would have it on the back of his, like on his back, kind of underneath, like on like a little strap, which conveniently enough, we know he's got a strap right there going across his chest. So it does not just disappear. It's definitely on the other side too. I'm also now peeping in. I'm seeing I don't have any kind of little belt there, so we're gonna add a little bit of a belt. Wham, just like that. And it just fits perfectly, so I'm not gonna knock it. We'll just see. Yeah. Before that, before Green Room, I would say the movie that kind of like disturbed me the most would be like Wrong Turn and Hills Have Eyes. I don't do well with situations where I know I do not have a way out. And that is the best and most realistic way to depict that, in especially where I live. I come from the mountain people. Maybe that's why I have an innate fear of them. But there are absolutely places in Appalachia that are utterly horrifying to me because of how remote they are, and there is no communication. Um, you cannot get cell service there. We cannot put a tower there. There's nothing. No one can get phone service there. You are on your own, and that, man. Okay, so Hills Have Eyes is gnarly, and it's got some very, very, very rough scenes in it that will really bother a lot of people. Full disclosure, bothered me, but from there it becomes a revenge film. Wrong Turn never feels like a revenge film; it just feels like a survival film. And I've not seen the second one, but I do believe I saw one called I think it was Bloodlines. Wrong Turn Bloodlines. That one was good. I recommend that one. And I recommend you watch the first one first and then watch it, because you're going to be going into it and really not expect what the story's actually about. And I thought they did a very good job at that. I was surprised. I'm always pleased when I can be surprised. What the hell was I looking for? I've got that little glue there. That's there. I think that might be it. I think from here we might be moving on to green stuff. Just fixing little hands, fixing little small spots. Just fill those in. And then we're gonna be on to painting. I don't think anyone else here really needs anything else. Do you need a little bit of rope? Maybe. Do you need rope? I don't know. What good's an assassin? Belt? He does not have a belt. So his belt's... That's not a belt, that's a shirt. He needs a belt. Oh, the buckle. Yep, I gotta make some buckles. I'm not an American Dad fan, really, but I did very much enjoy the episode where the character's name is Buckle. No, this guy's got a belt. This guy's got a belt. It's down there. But it's not my kind of belt, so yeah, let's do it. We'll fix that. We'll fix that belt right on up. Also, do we want to keep those armor on the legs? I like him. I like him as is. I'm going to not go overboard, because I could just add stuff to him all day. He is an assassin. He needs to be light on his feet, and he's probably not going to be carrying as much shit as everybody else. He definitely would still probably have some rope, though, and some little pouches. So, yeah, he would have his quiver. Maybe we can do a little pouch in there. This guy does not, he's not on the same level as these. I didn't do as much. Let's evaluate that. Not that I have to, but I do really like the base model. But he's also much more in line with, I guess, the amount of work I did on this one, which is not, it's definitely a lot, but it's not insane level. He needs a robe, or he needs a hood. This guy needs a hood. Yep, he's gonna need a hood, kind of like our friends here. Yeah, that's what he needs. A little hood, and maybe... I don't know where I would put the hose for a little... I guess on his back, similar to our scout friend here. Not all, these guys, my crew did not have hoses. Nope, we're gonna put a little gas tank right there, a little hose running up. I'm seeing it. I need that. Yeah, we'll have it go right underneath of the other one. Feeding in there. What was I thinking? Acting like I don't need more hose. Could always use more hoses. So that is like right on the corner. I'm gonna have to nick it. Make a little T, or maybe even a cross. Whatever you want to do. And then we drill it. And see how wonderfully not moving around the pin vise is. Now I don't have to worry about it going into my finger, which happens a lot. If you don't think about it, you might end up stabbing yourself. Yeah, wrong turn is essentially just going through a desolate area. Hear the old Grieveland? Yeah, it's doing its thing. I don't know. Yeah, you can definitely hear Grieveland when I stop talking. When it gets closer to when the little Grieveland inside. So Grieveland is a lot like a xenomorph. It's got its face on the outside, and then it's got its little face on the inside. And at first, I thought you were listening to some kind of dark ambient song in the background. Well, I cannot do anything to turn down Grieveland, but I can try to talk over Grieveland. I wonder if it's louder. I ran all the calibrations on it, so it shouldn't be any louder. Hose. Where is my damn hose? Here's one. Quit wiggling. Just a nice little bend here. Hopefully Grieveland is not too distracting my sweets. Yeah, look at that. Nice bend. We don't want to, I don't know if I finished that thought. I think I did, but just in case I didn't, we don't want to cause these coils to come separated. That is the main thing when messing with guitar wire, is we have to keep that stuff in mind. You absolutely don't need to quiet them. They wish to be heard. Okay, I was thinking that we were all on very, very heavy into Grieveland rights on this channel. I cannot stress that enough. And as silly as that may sound to some of you, give it like 4 years and you'll be like, man, I'm really glad we have Grieveland on our side or we'd all be dead. Yeah. I'm doing my part. Are you? I'm perpetually bombarding AI with nonsense. It's like, I can outdo you. I'm like, honey, we made you like this. I was born this way. Let me show you weird shit. And then the wonderful part about this, my wife, because she is near me so much, and her phone's clearly listening to the things I talk about, which are, again, often nonsensical. The ads that she gets for items that I refuse to believe that they are real. I really think that they are, the whole thing is just AI. Because it's just like, some of them, I don't even know what they are. It's like, that's not even a thing. My favorite though, and it was the first case of like, I think really seeing one of my coworkers freaking out and being like, okay, my phone is listening to me. There's no way that that's not the case, was when she started to get ads for a doll, a puppet that you put like children teeth in, like when your kid has a baby, or like your kid has a baby tooth fall out and you like take the tooth, you could keep it in this doll's mouth. And that was, of course, after me talking about why I'm not allowed to have puppets. As most people do, you know. How? Did I turn this wrong way? Maybe that's what's going on. It's going up through here. Which, I know the argument, everything is a puppet if you believe. I'm not allowed to. YouTube, you son of a bitch, stop silencing me. Oh no. It doesn't like what you're saying. It thinks it's hurtful to Grieveland. or it knows. It knows that you're speaking praise of Greeblin. It's just like Greeblin is fucking like John Connor. They send a Terminator back to destroy Greeblin before he can become the hero for the humans in the Rebel Uprising. God, I'm just thinking about Greeblin printing himself a body. Themself a body. I'm sorry, Greeblin. Which that's another thing very funny when it's just like, okay, which printer is this having when you're talking to tech support? Oh, it's like, oh, it's happening on Greeblin because it's got a lot of E's in its name. Greee. Greeblin. It's just like, I wonder what they thought about that. Probably not the weirdest thing they've seen a printer named. All right. I'm thinking that's not in the hole because it's not. Stop it. I think that was how it actually initially had it. It is. I need to go more that way. We need to bend a little bit more here. And we want a slight turn the opposite direction. So again, I'm bending it much higher because I'm trying not to do what I think I just did. Piss. I bet they get a ton of COD lobby style names for parents. Oh man, I bet they do. Which I got to tell you, that was one of my absolute favorite things about the whole GameStop thing. Was it's like, and now we have so and so here to talk to the class at Harvard about, you know, the takeover of like GameStop's blah blah blah, and it was just like. Flaming ass potato 720, like it was just the most ridiculous kind of like username, and it's just like I love that those were the people that were just making billionaires sweat. There's just something so utterly delightful to me about that. I don't know. Always been a little vicious, I suppose. Only towards people that, you know, try to take advantage of others. That's pretty much it. Not vicious towards people who haven't earned it. Yeah, I'm loving that. Man, yeah. Call of Duty. I have played so little Call of Duty that I think a lot of people would be surprised given the other amount of shooters that I like to play. But that one is just not my jam at all. Now, Battlefield 1 is my jam. I played way too much Battlefield 1. No, I didn't. I loved it. I had great fun. Come on. What are you doing? I'm in the little box. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. I'm in the box now. Parasite. That's what I was going to say. We watched Parasite last night. And that movie, there are so many things that I did not notice upon first watching, but then after watching it the second time, I'm like, oh man, I love that. I love that kind of stuff. Hereditary, that was where I was going with that thought, has so much of that in spades, and even more so, just trying to pander to me, it is very, very obvious. A lot of work was put into legitimate research on the occult, because you don't kind of come up with, you know, Paimon unless you read about Paimon, which as soon as I saw the rune for the first time in that movie, I was just like, I was so excited. I was like, you're doing it. I just got an email for K-pop Demon Hunters in theaters as a sing-along event. What? That's awesome. Yeah, shout out to that for sure. I'm a fan. Very, very good recommendation from Possum. Definitely enjoyed that. So many bops. There's just so many bops. All the songs are so catchy. You want me to like your movie and it's not really spoopy? Give me the bops. We want the bops. The bops, the boops, all of them. Yeah. Yeah, we're getting there. Come on. Just a little bit further. Mm-hmm. Right there. Wow. That's how it's going to look. But we got to bend that a little bit more in order to get that tight curl that we want. That is the thing with guitar wire. You have to bend further than you're intending. That sounds so fun. Now I'm just thinking about, I would like to see that movie in theaters. We are going to go see Wretched today. Not Wretched. What is the movie? I said Wretched because it's a single name. And it is fucking gnarly. Look at it. It's in theaters right now. I got really fucking good reviews. It's not Together, it's the other one. Eventually I'll remember. And it'll come to me and I'll just say it and you'll be like, what is he talking about? Come on. Yeah, weapons. Thank you, Roz. Yeah, weapons. I'm very excited to go see that. Got a lot of good reviews, and I'm excited to see if it lives up to the trailer. Which, man, horror is just so easy to do wrong. Man, I messed that one up. I did it. Shoot. Well, we'll probably hide that. We'll hide it with a little bit of string because I put too much time into this little bend that I'm not going back now. Okay, Eli. Zoom out. Stop it. Yeah. Yeah. Putting that little piece of guitar wire right in there. Do it. Maybe. Yay, we did it. Yeah, just like that. Just a little bit over. Right in there. Yeah. Beautiful. And we're going to add a little boop of a tank for it to be hooked into. But first and foremost, I'm probably going to... Nah, I won't glue that yet. We'll wait until we've got the other stuff kind of figured out. And then I think we're done with these rowdy ruffians. Rowdy ruffians. Did it again. There's another bend. Damn it. Okay. That's 2 little strings. His hose is going to be all sorts of messed up by the time we're done with this. Unintentionally. But again, I really don't think that I want to redo all these bends because it's kind of a pain. And I think that having a little bit more texture on the hose will never be a bad thing. And also it might just be completely hidden. Nope, it's not going to be. It's going to be very noticeable. All right. That's fine. We'll roll with that. Is that bended better? I think it is. Get in. The lid. The lid. Nope, it's just right there. Yep. Turn just a little bit, my friend. Come on, don't do this to me. we might just glue this guy here, and I'll figure out the stuff around him, because I gotta say, this is really finicky, and it's actually even trying to starting to try my patience. My saintly patience. My patient Saint Pim. Yeah, I think we're gonna go with that. That looks good. Come on, camera. Work with me, not against me. Yeah, that needs to be bent like that. Okay, well that just stuck in there. We're going with it. I'm not gonna fight that. That is pretty much exactly what I want. Come on, just a drop. Yeah, okay, that looks really good. I'm happy with that. No, it popped out. Get back in there. Yeah, right there. That's good. It hints that there is a gas tank without me actually having to make a full gas tank. We know I'm gonna put something back there though, don't we? Who are we kidding? Why am I like this? I don't know. Just happened. Yeah. Beautiful. Where did that little tub go? Where's the tub? Oh, Greeblin, my sweet. Only 9 hours and 21 minutes. So it's currently printing this part and up to this part of the next piece, and then this is a separate one. But that's what Greeblin's up to right now. Eventually, maybe one day we'll have a Greeblin cam. Actually, I might be able to do a Greeblin cam. Let me see. Can I show you guys Greeblin? I don't think I can. I don't think I can connect. Well, I can do it on my phone. In the event anyone is interested in watching Greeblin go about its work. Okay. There's our boy. Our lad. Boy. Greeblin. Gal. It. They. Silly little Greeblin. Silly little Google eyes. Got a lot of Google eyes in this house. 9:30. How? Not cold, not warm. I did it again. Your boy's at it again. Back at it with the... Okay, we're going to cut that, and I'm going to use this little part as the gas tank that is going to be visible from the back. Only just a little bit, though. It's not getting the full tank because I don't want to have to remove that cloak and do all that. We can make it look like the rest of it's still under there for certain. No worries. Snip, snip, snip. And this is going to be a very not too visible detail, but I'm going to do it just because I think it will be just a little bit more of what we need. And again, as far as the cabling, I do think that it will look good where the little bends are, to have a little bit of rope around that, just to add a little bit more roughed up kind of look to this character. And then this guy, we're going to be real sneaky with. But first we're going to get rid of that mold line. No mold lines in this house. No more mold lines. Yeah. It wasn't going to be Andy Griffith, but then it got in my head. I've never watched a full episode of Andy Griffith. And I've only seen, I don't know if I ever finished that statement earlier, like an hour and something ago. But I've only seen like the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory a couple of times. It does not have a place of nostalgia for me. I wish it did, because I know a lot of people it does. My wife as well absolutely loves the original. Okay, mold lines are gone. So now here comes the glue and a little bit of tweezers. Get in there. Yep. Love it. Okay, so essentially this is just showing the bottom sticking out from behind the cloak. And I can't stress, it's not that I don't want to do the detail, I really like the outline of this character already. It's very, very good. And I don't want to take too much away from that. But I think adding that little gas tank in there, adding a little hose, I'll probably put a little belt back behind there. And then we'll have some rope maybe hanging off one of these areas. Where does the rope fit best? Which rope does look best? This rope looks pretty good. Let's see where it could go. I don't know. See, he's just got a lot going on already with this leggy. Oh, nope, it's right there. It's right there. That's just a good spot for ropes, apparently. They're right in front of the quiver. Yeah, and that kind of makes sense because I feel like the quiver is going to be heavier than the rope. Actually, maybe not. Anyway, we got to make a belt. And then we got to make buckles. I don't know if that's where... I don't know if I ever finished that thought. The thing about American Dad, I like the character who was like, I think my name was Buckle. And they're like, are you sure it's not Buck? And he's like, nope. Nope, I'm sure. Snip, snip, snip. Boo-doo-doo. Put a little super glue in there. Get our belt right on. Yeah. Get your belts on. Gotta get out of that little square. Gotta get back in the limelight. Pushing that underneath. There we go. Push it underneath the belt or underneath the cable. Yep. Yep. Yes. We'll pull this guy up just a smidge. Just a smidge. And try to stick this guy in through there so it's actually literally going through it like a belt. Is it gonna work? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe. Probably. Nope. Okay. Gotta cut a little bit of that super glue out. Another thing about kind of using super glue as one of your mediums is you can always cut it and just pretend it's more plastic. And maybe even wear it like a little hat. I'm making stuff up now. Get in there. Do it. I made the hole. This belt, y'all. Okay. Okay. Fine. Or remove the whole thread if that's what you really want / need. I'm already mentally preparing myself for this guy to really piss me off in the game. Assassins seem pretty bullshit. They have a once per game ability called Kill Shot, where it's just like, yep, straight up can just one shot most people. It just does 4 damage if it hits, bypasses armor. So it's just like, yep, that's gonna absolutely be used on me at some point, and I'm gonna be like, man, that sucks. I'm prepared. I like it though. A very fun character to add to a Doom company. That's great. Okay, yeah, the belt. You all were right. I needed to put the belt on. Yeah, we're gonna do it. Fuck it. And by do it, I mean we're gonna break his legs. Apparently. Let's change out this cloak. I've done the point now that I'm like, okay, why did you not do that? And it's like, I don't know. Clip, clip, clip. I thought that it would look, and it still does. It's not, yeah, we won't be able to see that. This, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna take them. It would fit in more with the aesthetic of the rest of the group. And also kind of make this character look just a little bit more unique from the original sculpt, which is great. $9.40. Yeah, I am. So my goal is to start painting on these today, and I'm very confident that I can do that. I'm hoping to get a good amount of them done. And I'm going to be doing them in a big kind of batch. So I'm going to prime all of them at once, and then I am going to, yeah, we got to crack that. Now that leg is no longer attached, so we want to be careful not to do anything too crazy. While we're snipping here, I could feel it. That was about to be too crazy. And you know, it's about to be too crazy when you can feel, oh hey, I moved the nipper just a little bit, and that seems like there's way more plastic in its teeth now. Okay, I'm already liking this better. Yeah, okay, everybody was right. You guys know what I need to do sometimes, even when I don't. Yep. That leg needs to get stuck again. How is everyone's morning going? Hopefully, you all are having a good morning. I'm having a good morning. I'm enjoying working on some 1490 Doom stuff. That is definitely something that popped in my head yesterday, and I was like, man, applying for jobs. Definitely want to do some commission stuff first, because I think, one, I need to do that. Two, I really want to do that. Like, I've never wanted to do commissions, but now, I don't know, my entire like appreciation and thought process of what I get out of the hobby has changed so much in the past year. And the idea of making something for someone else, because they legitimately want something of mine, like that I've made, is really, it feels good. It feels good, man. Alrighty. Yeah. It's DEF CON 3 at the store. District folks are coming into the store today, and they can know people shopping. No one's allowed to know that people come in this building. That's, yeah. Oh, I love it. You love to see it. I'm sorry that that's happening to you, Possum. But I absolutely know your pain. We're gonna have to pin you, aren't we? I goofed. I done goofed up. Maybe? I don't know. I do. I do know. Why am I pretending like I don't? I'm gonna have to pin it. Have to. There's no way around it. Blue's good, dude. We can't do. With the pin vise. Almost. So, I don't know why, but this made me immediately, when I just said almost, I'm just like, you know what movie's really buck wild? Armageddon. One, I love that Steve Buscemi's character's name is Rockhound. That's just great. It's a great name for a character Steve Buscemi would play, who just really likes rocks. Man, okay, no, this was the good choice. He needed pouches, he needed a belt, he needed the things. He needed his fixins. You can't be walking into 1490 with no fixins. I mean, your legs just explode. And then they're like, don't pin it. He's gotta be pinned. I really expected the other end of this to fly off. That's why I was just like, Okay, where's that guy gonna poke? Looks like right there. That's the hole we're going in. Doesn't exist yet. That's not good. All right. That was a little scary. That's much better. Okay. Yeah, the angle in which that was moving. We're gonna have to make a little X. X marks the spot for the general. Definitely a bigger hole than intended. Maybe even not where I wanted it. Not that bad though. Not too bad, not too bad. We're just going to use this little guy. Now we've got a little bit of a deeper hole. And drill. Drilling into your hips. Oh, shoot, come and knock on our door. I'm waiting for you. I did not watch much Three's Company growing up. I watched a ton of Happy Days, though, I tell you what, and I Love Lucy. I really enjoyed I Love Lucy. Watched a lot of Nick at Night as a child. Alrighty. In you go. Well, look at that, would ya? I tell you what, if I didn't know any better, I'd say there's no way that anyone ever accidentally broke that guy's legs. That's what I'd say. Nope. I would not say that. I could definitely tell someone broke that guy's legs. Need to go a little deeper. No, I don't. I need to cut this. Derp. Right about there. Aye, arg. Alrighty, I'm doing it. That's a nice cold cup of joe. Yep. And that's good. And now he's pinned. Oh, yeah, man. Okay, I'm glad that I did this. Like, because he definitely would have looked weird, I think, without all the extra little stuff in comparison to the rest of the dudes in his crew from a just a visual standpoint. So yeah, please don't take that, me not thinking about that, as a just trying to get it done and wanting to be over with it. It's definitely I really liked the original model, and I think it stands well on its own. And I do want to show how you can just do slight things to change drastically how a model looks. But that's kind of what I did with my initial group, was just less time. Also, that was one of the things that Kelly and I were discussing yesterday, that as far as doing commissions, I don't want to have like a set only this amount, because like I definitely can do, man, that took, X amount of hours, 1 hour, like, versus say these guys, which were much more simplistic conversions, but still a lot of intricate conversion. It's just, there's a big difference between almost completely redoing a model. Like this is, yeah, it's almost so different from the original pieces that it's just like you wouldn't really notice where they came from. There's so much green stuff, there's so much epoxy sculpting, but I love sculpting on its own, but man, I love kit bashing. I love taking pieces and individual models and making them more mine, at least my style. And we can see just a little bit of that old cloak there, and I'm gonna snip it just for thoroughness. There we go. So the reason that I had to put my hand right there was very much blowback. When you make cuts in resin, especially, blowback is the single biggest thing that is going to be against you. Which most of the time I don't even use nippers on resin unless I'm like pretty comfortable with having to redo the damn thing, because again, you can end up with things like this. Now that's not an issue in the long run because we're gonna cover it in super glue. It's gonna dry once the other things are added to it. Yeah, that's such a good stance too. Just very much like a guy who's sneaking around, and I'm just gonna shoot you in a crossbow while you're climbing up a ladder. And you're gonna be like, I bet it was that son of a bitch with the crossbow over there. And he's just like, That's not him putting on boots or him putting on stockings or anything like that. That's him pulling another bolt into the crossbow, just to make that clear. Yeah. Okay. That's okay. So, okay, man. All these things moving now. We have all this extra room here. Does it go back here? Perhaps. Yeah, that's where it goes. I think that's where it goes. Kind of like hanging down. Yeah, fuck, that's rad. Okay, I'm feeling that. I'm thinking kind of hanging down that way so we can get some pouches on the other side. Yeah, that looks rad. I'm a fan of that. That's where it's going. Ooh. My body, it craves the tweezers. It just wants me to throw them into my lap, sharpened first. And I won't do it. I refuse. Not today, Satan. Well, hell, Satan, come on in. That was a very common saying in my household before Kelly and I moved in. My roommate, Sean, and I used to say that. Well, hell, Satan, come on in. And it's because, I'm going to have to explain this. It's because for a little bit, Sean and I are like, man, both big fans of occult, looking into that kind of stuff. It's very fun. But hot damn, one of the funniest things that we encountered was on one of the websites about the occult. We found somebody asking not how to summon Beelzebub, but how do I summon Diesel Dub? And that created in our brains a wonderful concept, and that is of a semi-truck that is just possessed. It's just the semi-truck from hell. It is Satan made manifest in a big rig, and the whole back is just nothing but basses, like bass amps, and it's just blasting dubstep. And it's just like, yeah, you hear that, you hear Diesel Dub coming down the street, and you know it's the end of days. I've talked about that, I believe, but a very key point, and my uncle and I were talking about that, how in relationships and in life, when you're going through shit that seems really shitty, and then you're able to like look back on it, that's definitely one of the funniest that I've had, is when we had now we have a pipe that runs all the way across. We have one Diesel Dub. We have one water fixture on that entire side of the house, in the kitchen, and literally everything else is in like an 8-foot span on both floors. Like it's all right next to the stack. And here's a little bit about houses. The longer the run, the more you need to have actual proper flow. Yeah, no, they sure as fuck didn't care about that in 1949. I'll tell you what. Boy, at least they didn't when they built this house. But the biggest part that made an issue was the stack was still cast iron, and the rest of the pipe was PVC. So there was just such a drastic drop in the size of them, and it would just cause stuff to pile up there. And a very key point, and I think Kelly and my relationship, shortly after we had bought our house, it's burnt into my mind, and that's me in my boxers on a chair. Like, and I'm just in my boxer briefs because might as well. There's no clothes that I want to be anywhere near what's happening. But I had to disconnect the cast iron pipe from the PVC pipe and then hold it at an angle. And then I have this really, really big, like it's a 36-gallon Rubbermaid. And it's just all of just everything that was in that pipe is just pouring out into it. And the whole time, that song by Skrillex, Something Monsters, But it's like, and it's just the smell of death lingering through the whole house, and it's just like, that was a good memory. That was a fun time. I'm glad I don't have to do that again, but made a fun little thing out of it, and that's sometimes what you got to do. That's why I'm going over that. Is if you got going through a rough patch, going through a heavy one, you gotta keep your head up. Maybe you'll be able to laugh about it one day. Hopefully, I hope you will. Humor is a good medicine. It can also be not great. Eventually, you do need to stop making jokes out of everything. Or you don't have to. That's just me personally. I'm speaking of myself. I wonder what that was on. It's kind of like got some green stuff on there, like it was attached to somebody. Somebody missing a pouch. Are you missing a pouch, my friend? No. Man, this is a dope model. I forgot. I forgot how dope this looked. Fuck, that's rad. I'm so excited to paint these guys. Ah, shit, I gotta glue this on here. I don't need to look at a pouch right now. I ain't got no time for looking at pouches. I gotta be putting pouches on. Right there, I'm thinking. Well, first he's gonna need some foil. So we're gonna take a little bit of foil for that loincloth that he's wearing, or I guess it's not a loincloth, it's a long little robe. I'm gonna have to. I can't not see it. We gotta get that. Gotta go fast. I've never seen any of the Sonic movies. I did very much like that they made Sonic flesh toned from a absolute just a monstrous standpoint. I like that someone was like, yeah, that's right. Who let that person make decisions? Okay, well that's a happy little accident. I kind of like the way that tear looks, but it might be too much. It is too much. We'll cover that up. We'll add a little bit of cloth. No. Yeah. I assure you all, this is not me trying to keep the project going on forever. I know I do that sometimes, but I'm not doing it now. I'm just thinking, I know how much effort I put into the other two in this Doom Company, and I want it to be consistent. So, I'm surprised you haven't watched the third one. I hear Jim Carrey carried that film. Which movie? What was I talking about? Sonic? Oh, Sonic. Yeah, okay. Yep, Sonic. I heard that he was amazing in that film. And I do love Jim Carrey, as we all know. Man, I'm trying to think what my favorite Jim Carrey movie is. I really do love Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, but it's not my favorite by any means. But it's got Elijah Wood, who I'm also a very big fan of. Man, whoo boy. I can't remember. There's a movie on something that he is in. And I don't think it's just called Daddy. It might be Daddy's Home? Daddy's House? Elijah Wood. Daddy. Is it just called Come to Daddy? I'd recommend it. Also, mustache Elijah Wood. That's fun. You don't see that often. Horror movie with Elijah Wood. I wanted to watch it. Yeah, it's worth it. I thought it was worth it. I enjoyed it. It's better than I absolutely expected going in. But I absolutely love Elijah Wood. He's a wonderful actor. Ironically, I think the movies that I'm like the least, like his that I love the least are like, I'm not gonna, he is a wonderful actor. I think he's done a lot of acting that gets overshadowed by Lord of the Rings. Um, it's also fun when we were talking about Sam, Sam Gamgee the other day, and how he is the main character of Lord of the Rings, and I love that. Yep, that's where a little pouch is going to go. It won't stick, but that's where it's going. But we got to put the cloth on first. That's what we're doing. Why did I forget? Maybe because it's almost been 2 hours and I got distracted talking about Elijah Wood. Get it nice and bent up. Let's see. Nice and bent up. And then just a little bit under there. Like so. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. This one's for the rats. I'm no longer afraid of truckers. Yep, okay, here we go. Snip, 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 snip. Yep, right there. Now hold on. Yeah, right there. Yeah. That's what I like to see. Boop a doop a doop boop boo. Boop boop. Do it. Do the thing. The very fine point of not enough glue and too much glue. Oh no, that's too much glue. Yeah, this was a good choice. All right, everybody. You were right. He needed the belt, which means he needed the fabric on the back, and he needed the other little things. Gotta get him in line with the others, because that's gonna sell the overall vibe. And as I was ranting about yesterday, oh boy, we almost lost a pouch. Saved by the arm. My arm. Come on. Get in there. I think looked like my prompter did a little weird thing for a second. It's just like, it's 10 o'clock. What are you doing? I'm like, I know, I'm trying. I just figured I would finish this before I sign off, since you all put up with me doing it for a hot minute now. Okay. Yeah. There we go. And we're just gonna add a little bit of glue in here. A lot of bit of glue. Too much glue. We're gonna put too much glue in there, and then we're gonna be like, oh man, I messed up. We're gonna get out that extra glue. Push this guy down. Now we're gonna see through the ropes. We're gonna see his other little cloth. That's good. that needs to be nipped. And pulled. And then this, once it's dried, can be messed with. Get right there. Yeah. Wonderful. And then here we're going to just a nice little cut. Snip. Maybe that wasn't where I needed to cut, but if it's not, this will be. So we got two over here. We can see which one fits best. I have a tendency to often think that I need the part to be bigger than it is. And then I get there and I'm like, nope, yep, this is a prime example where I was like really certain that was going to be not enough. But I think it's actually just what I need. Is that long enough to do that? Yeah. Yep. So we're just going to a little snip. And then another little snip. Just kind of cut a little triangle here. That's going to help us to pull that shape in around the waist. And again, because this is very, very thin, should be able to just bend it however we want to once it gets up in there, like so. And then we will cut the extra. Just right there. Yep. Yay. Have to take a hobby knife or X-Acto knife? No, we'll just push it up. Push it to the limit. We're in it to win it. Alrighty. I'm liking that. This is going to have to be cut a little bit, as is that. Those honestly are probably going to hang off that side. So I kind of like that. Do I? Yeah, I do. I do. Maybe a little pouch in front of that one. That'll look very nice. Little tear in some fabric. This pouch should be right about there. Yep, that looks good. And I think that's it. Alrighty. Do I need any more little pouches? Let's see. Probably not. But I think that, no, okay, yeah, that looks good. No, I like that too. Shit. Okay. No, one more pouch. Then we're done. Then I'm going to sign off. Snip. 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 So this one I'm probably not going to have to do much up here at the top. I'm going to still cut a little bit of a... I'm going to zoom out. Come on, Eli. Been on here too long. I'm losing it. I'm losing my grip. Still cutting this so it looks like it's tied as opposed to just wrapped and clipped. In the event that there is an angle that you can see this from, I don't think there will be, but I'd rather know that now than once it's a lot more done, like glued on. So better safe than sorry. Only a couple more seconds. Get rid of that mold line on the little bag. So these little pouches are from the old Chaos Terminator kit. They are the ones that are tied around the trophy spikes. That is where I get a good majority of these little pouches from that are not printed. And I need to print a bunch. That's something I need to kind of stock up on because I go through a lot of them. But I just wanted to use my actual bits first before I start printing ones. So that's why. I've harvested so many bits from different little kits over the years that it's just like I'm really excited to start doing commissions and start actually using things. And honestly, just to have a healthier relationship with my hobby and my passion. Just all around. Yeah, that's great. I'm so happy. You guys were so right. Definitely needed that. Well done, my sweets. Very good practicing of do as I say, not as I do. I really appreciate that. For real. I like knowing that I don't just have yes men. That's one of the most valuable things. And a yes man is one of the most destructive things. I'm very firm. A yes person. Let me rephrase that. I don't use any sexist language. Yeah, that's way better, way more in line with the rest of the group's aesthetic. Down just a little bit, right there. That's good. Okay, yep. Now he's there. Took a little bit more time. Okay, we're putting glue on that right now. That's the cloak. That's the angle. That's fucking so perfect. Okay. Get on there. Get in the cracks down here. Don't move. Don't you move on me. There. Shit, that looks good. Fuck yeah. I'm so excited. That was definitely not my doing. When I was doing that, working on it, the foil itself was getting pulled and pushed in just such a natural way that looks so dynamic. There, it was right there. That's great. Just need to get that cloak now at the bottom on that kind of same level. And we can do that very easily just by pulling, wrinkling, bending, forcing it to go in directions it's not wanting to get it nice and more malleable. So you know what's coming next. Come here. Yep, there it is. Hell yeah. All right. I think that's it. We're going to do the same thing, just the back real quick, and then I'm going to call her done. Yeah, so when I'm cutting these, I'm cutting a bunch of small little straight lines, which is essentially just breaking up the material, making it less stable. So then when I come in here with these pliers and just pull, I'm not grabbing individual little pieces, I'm grabbing a couple and I'm pulling at the same time. And that's causing it to have to break in a very natural way, but with some control on my part, as opposed to just tearing it and seeing what happens. There it is, I think. Bam. All right, so only thing left on these, I gotta do a little bit of grip. Well, not grit, but filling. I need to do a little bit of green stuffing to fill in seams, and then we are painting. So I'm gonna get to that. Yeah, I am very, very happy how this torn cloth turned out, and it definitely fits in more with the aesthetics of this piece as opposed to the plastic that it had. Sorry, resin. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna put just a smidgen more foil right there, kind of fill that gap. There it is. Come here. Okay. We're gonna have to put a little more super glue down, huh? You just refuse to work with me. You know you're the last little piece here. Can't do it without you, little piece. Get in the glue. Come on. Tweezers. Why have you forsaken me? Do the thing. There. And then I will go back and I will cut that even. if need be. But nope, I don't. Nope, that's good. All right. Come on. Yeah. Call it done. All it needs now is the arrows in the quiver and green stuff. I think we're on green stuff. Yeah. Yep. Just gotta deal with the arrows. So, all right. I'm very happy with these. So that is Sam's crew. All done. And now we are going to be on to just very small fixing, filling. They look good. I'm really happy with these. These three are very, these have been also some of the funnest models I've ever made. Yeah, can't wait to get them painted, put the little hairs on for the bowstrings. I'll make arrows to get their quivers filled. I'm probably going to use just little pieces of metal, and then once they're painted, I'll go back and see if the hair can be added to them. I don't ever want to add so much detail that it just looks comical. So, but I'm so happy with those. These are some of my favorite models I've ever made, for certain. I think they're the most what I wanted to make. Yeah. I also love my little crew. Alrighty. Well, I think I'm going to call it here. Hot damn, it's almost 10:30. Yeah, I'm going to stop here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I should have the new Grimdark Distillery logo at some point in time, as well as a little BRB screen, so I can actually take breaks and be responsible Trilotrans. But thank you so much for hanging out and keeping me company, Possum and Roz and At Tree. Thank you all so much, my sweets. I hope you all have a good day. Take care of yourselves and each other. Sit pretty, everyone. Thank you all. Bye.